An independent analysis of European defense capabilities and strategic policy.
The displacement of a naval vessel is rarely a mere matter of engineering convenience. It is, in fact, a physical manifestation of strategic intent. For the Italian Navy, the impending transition from the legacy Durand de la Penne class to the projected DDX Destroyer represents something more than a simple modernization cycle. It signals a fundamental recalibration of Rome's maritime posture. With a full load displacement projected to exceed 13,500 tons, the DDX effectively bypasses the traditional categorization of a destroyer. It enters the tonnage realm historically reserved for cruisers, comparable to the American Ticonderoga-class or the Chinese Type 055. This structural upscaling suggests that the Marina Militare is no longer content with a doctrine confined to the central Mediterranean. Instead, it appears to be engineering a fleet designed for persistent presence in the wider geopolitical theater known as the Mare Allargato, or enlarged Mediterranean, extending influence from the Atlantic choke points all the way to the Indian Ocean. The decision to construct a hull of this magnitude, expected to be formalized with the industrial consortium Orizzonte Sistemi Navali around February 18, 2026, appears driven by two primary systemic requirements: endurance and power generation. Traditional Mediterranean operations allow for frequent resupply and close air support, permitting smaller, denser hull designs. However, at the requirement to escort high-value assets, such as the carrier Cavour or the amphibious assault ship, Trieste, into the Indo-Pacific or the Red Sea, necessitates a platform capable of autonomous operation over extended ranges. A 13,500-ton hull offers the internal volume necessary for expanded fuel reserves and provisions. This reduces reliance on auxiliary supply ships, which are often the weak link in expeditionary logistics. Furthermore, the volume provides critical growth margins. Unlike previous generations of European surface combatants where sensors and weapons were tightly packaged to save weight, the DDX design philosophy prioritizes available space. It prioritizes weight allowance to accommodate future technologies, particularly directed energy weapons that require substantial electrical power generation capacity. From a sensor-to-shooter perspective, the DDX is designed less as a ship and more as a mobile extension of the national air defense infrastructure. The integration of the Leonardo Kronos dual-band radar, operating in both C and X bands, indicates a primary mission focus on ballistic missile defense. This capability transforms the vessel into a strategic node within the broader NATO integrated air and missile defense architecture. It becomes capable of sanitizing vast volumes of airspace and tracking threats well beyond the horizon. The coupling of this sensor suite with the Aster 30 Block 1 NT interceptor suggests that Rome intends to provide a sea-based shield for southern Europe. This is a role that offers significant political leverage within the alliance command structure. The technical specifications imply that the Italian naval staff views information dominance and radar discrimination as equal in value to kinetic firepower. However, the sheer size of the platform introduces a complex debate regarding armament density. Despite being larger than a U.S. R. Lee Burke Flight 3 destroyer, the DDX is projected to carry between 64 and 80 vertical launch system cells. This ratio of tonnage to missile cells is notably lower than its peer competitors, particularly East Asian designs which emphasize maximum magazine depth. This disparity highlights a distinctly European design philosophy: crew habitability, survivability through compartmentation, and maintenance accessibility are prioritized over raw missile saturation. And it also reflects a budgetary reality where the cost of filling vertical launch cells with high-end interceptors often exceeds the cost of the steel hull itself. The trade-off here is operational sustainability versus peak intensity firepower. The DDX is built to stay on station longer, even if it brings fewer effectors to a high-intensity saturation attack scenario. A critical evolution in this program is the integration of deep strike capabilities through the Scalp naval cruise missile. Historically, the Italian Navy has focused on sea control and air defense, leaving strike missions to the Air Force. The introduction of a long-range, subsurface-to-surface land attack vector fundamentally alters the strategic utility of the fleet. It provides the political leadership in Rome with a sovereign option to project power against land targets deep inside hostile territory without relying on Allied support or vulnerable air bases. This moves the DDX from a purely defensive asset to an instrument of offensive deterrence. Yet, this capability introduces new command and control challenges, requiring a robust targeting cycle and intelligence support infrastructure that extends well beyond the ship's own sensors. The industrial implications of the program are equally significant. With a projected investment of €2.7 billion for the first 2 units, the DDX serves as a flagship project for the consolidation of the national defense industry. The collaboration between Fincantieri and Leonardo through Orizzonte Sistemi Navali is designed to secure sovereign competence in complex systems integration. By producing a vessel of this complexity, Italy aims to maintain its position as a Tier 1 naval producer. It aims to compete with French and British shipyards for export contracts in the high-end corvette and frigate market, using the DDX as a technological demonstrator. However, the escalating costs of such sophisticated platforms risk crowding out other essential naval programs. There is a palpable tension between the desire for a few exquisite capital ships and the need for a larger number of lower-tier vessels for routine patrol duties. This balance is increasingly difficult to maintain under current fiscal constraints. Yet another layer of systemic risk involves the proposed Manning concept. The DDX is designed to operate with a reduced crew complement, relying heavily on automation and digital ship management systems. While this reduces life cycle personnel costs, a chronic issue for Western navies, it raises questions regarding damage control and battle redundancy. Experience from other naval programs, such as the American Littoral Combat Ship, suggests that lean manning can become a liability during sustained combat operations or when dealing with cascading technical failures. If a 13,500-ton vessel takes damage, the ability to generate a sufficient volume of human labor for firefighting and repairs is a function of crew size, not software. And this creates a potential vulnerability where the platform's technological sophistication effectively lowers its resilience to battle damage. The timing of the contract advancement in early 2026 also places the DDX program in the middle of a shifting alliance landscape. As the global combat air program experiences cost overruns and work-share disputes between Italy and the United Kingdom, the DDX remains a largely sovereign endeavor. It is free from the complexities of tri-national industrial politics. This autonomy grants Rome greater control over the timeline and configuration, but also means the full financial burden falls on the Italian taxpayer. The success of the program depends on the stability of multi-year defense funding, which is historically volatile in the Italian parliamentary system. Ultimately, the DDX represents a wager on the future nature of maritime warfare. By investing in a massive hull with substantial power and cooling margins, Italian planners are betting that the future belongs to high-power sensors and directed energy weapons rather than simply adding more conventional missile cells. It is a transition from a fleet designed for escort and patrol to one capable of theater-wide denial and strategic coercion. Whether this operational ambition can be sustained by the necessary logistical tail and intelligence architecture remains the defining variable. The vessel itself is merely the most visible component of a much larger, less visible transformation of the Italian military instrument, one that seeks to convert economic investment into tangible geopolitical weight in an increasingly contested maritime domain.